first of all, a huge thank you. Obviously, I've been saying that if you want to make a change, you've got to take action, and you all have. And it might sound really ridiculous and really exaggerated, but the point is change starts with an action, and this is what you have taken. But it doesn't end now just from getting on a workshop, being here for these 3 days. Like, we got to bring the energy, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. This is a first for uni. So uni was created as a self-development university. People go off to university, and I'll talk about my experience later, thinking they're going to learn about their subject, that they're going to learn how to cook, right? But when do they actually learn about themselves? When they get a low grade, when they have to do group work, when they get a relationship, when somebody dumps them, when all of these things happen when they're living alone, where do they learn how to deal with that from? But what I realized, what I started to learn was actually, it's not just in that demographic. Actually, a huge amount of people do not know and have the skills to deal with life. There are things that you know, but you've forgotten. Things that you've forgotten along the way, a lot because of the society that we live in or the people that you live around, yes. But also things that if you know them and you practice them frequently, it will change your life. So this is what we're talking about today. I want to tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about my story. But today it's obviously not about me. And this is not about me talking at you, although that's probably what it sounds like. There are going to be a lot of activities, a lot of exercises. This is about you learning about yourself. And I hope to be simply your guide through that. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a therapist. I'm here to guide you because I've been through the process myself, and I also have a huge amount of knowledge about it, okay? So my title, call myself a mindset strategist. That means that I help people create the right strategies to get them from where they are to where they want to be, or even just understand their situation so they can begin to make the changes. And with strategies, the worst strategies are the big ones. The best strategies are the small ones that you do every day that then change your life. So I'm a mindset strategist. I do that in one-to-one coaching. I go in and do workshops and talks with kids of all ages. I was with year 5s for a whole week, which was incredible, all the way up until sixth formers and university students, and even organizations. I work with a law firm, working with their clients and also their staff. So I work all sorts, right? It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, whether you want help with relationships, whether you want help with your finances, whether you want to change a career, whatever it is, this is relevant to everybody. So whilst I hope that we can make a big change in one area of your life, this stuff is relevant for all of the areas. And what we want to do is not just grow in one area, but grow in all areas, grow as a person. So that is me, that is what I do. And a few years ago, 1 year ago, it was not what I was doing. Again, I'll explain more about how I got here. But I was in a 9-to-5 job. I was in a 9-to-5 job that I liked, but it didn't fire me up. And through this process that I'm about to teach you, I got here, and I'm forever grateful. I do not take this for granted. But today is about you. So in the chat, again, I said we're going to make use of this chat. Why are you here? Why did you choose to be here? What are you looking to gain? Just an FYI, there is a 13-second, roughly, lag in the video. So I'll keep talking. You pop that in the chat and I'll let you know when I've seen them. What is driving you to be here? What are you looking to change? What are you looking to change? Pop it in the chat. It might be personal, but we're going to get personal and we're going to be brutally honest with each other. So what is it for you? What is the reason why you are here? I am here, as I've said, because I know that this works. I know that this works, and I know that if you take this on board, you'll realize that too, right? I hope you've got your pieces of paper, you've got your notebook, you've got your pens. So write it down on a piece of paper. You don't have to put it in the chat if you don't want to, but write it down. You need to know, what is your intention? Set your intention for these 3 days. Jordan says to become a better version of himself. Let's be more specific, right? To be a better version of yourself is great. We all want to do that. No one would ever say they want to be a worse version of themselves, let's be honest. So what is it that you want to get better at? Is it confidence? Because you don't have to wait until day 3 to get better at confidence, because that starts now by learning how to like yourself. You want to gain more knowledge. You're feeling directionless at the moment and you're hoping that this might give you some direction. That makes me smile, Jenny, so much, because this is for people who feel, not just people who feel lost in any certain area of their life. But that is also exactly what it does. People who don't know who they are, right? And I'm going to go straight into the way that I got here. I'm only 24. I'm 24. But I learned a huge amount through my own experience. And let's start at the very beginning. I grew up in a household with a mum, an amazing, amazing mother. Best mum in the world. I'm sure you'll all be with me on that. But my brother and my dad had Asperger's. Asperger's is it's a label, and I don't like using labels, but it does describe how they were. It means that maybe a little bit less emotion, a little bit less understanding in other people's emotions. And this can be quite hurtful in the way that they communicate with other people. And so people who don't have Asperger's might be a bit shocked or surprised. I once had a Bulgarian friend at university, and nothing, he didn't have Asperger's or anything, but he spoke great English, but because of the ways of communicating in Bulgaria, it always felt like he was being a bit brutal and a bit rude because of his way of speaking. But it was due to the culture. And it's just the same with Asperger's or any other identity or label that you have on yourself that you may be seen as a little bit different, right? But what I learned from this is that my family always were reacting. They were so reactive to each other. They couldn't handle being told no. They couldn't handle when things didn't go their way. So this really, from a very young age, got me interested in psychology. Unconsciously, I didn't know that I was interested in psychology. I didn't understand what it was, but I was observing different people's ways of reacting. Nothing was ever really calm. Everything was always trying to be managed. So without realizing it, I was adopting some of those behaviors as well, not being so conscious about my reactions, not being conscious about what I was doing, just reacting, thinking that was normal. So when I got to sixth form, this is a slight step away from that. When I got to sixth form, which is years 12 and 13, so when you're 16, 17, 18, years before university, I started having panic attacks. I'd been in the same school since I was in year 3. Really supportive school, really blessed to have been going to that school. But I moved sixth form to a school that was nearly shut down. It was so bad. They had never had any uniform. But when I joined the year before, they'd had to put gates around the perimeter. You had to call the teachers by their full name, whereas before it was their first name. There were so many things. And a lot of the people in my year were using drugs openly. And so it was a massive culture shock to me. And alongside that is I wasn't prepared for the workload. And Jenny, this is going to get into what you're talking about feeling lost. I didn't see the point of being there. I didn't know why I was there. The reason why I chose that place, and you're probably wondering, well, why did you choose such a terrible place? I chose that place because they did dance. Nowhere else within an easy distance to get to did dance. And I really enjoyed it. It was the thing that sort of got me through coping with my parents' divorce and coping with all the things that generally happen in families, right? So I was like, well, do I need to be in sixth form to study dance? Why can't I just leave? I was constantly debating with my English teacher about why were we analysing texts when actually I wanted to be a writer. Part of me wanted to be a writer, part of me wanted to be a dancer, right? Whether you do writing to support the dance, I don't know. I didn't understand why I was learning about these things rather than actually getting better at them. Now, obviously, you have to analyse, you have to understand what the greats have done in order to be a great yourself. But I felt lost. I didn't know why I was going to university. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know what I wanted to study. I was lost. And the thing is when you're lost, when you feel lost, and you start to have a negative perception of the world, you can easily sink into something called depression. Now, depression, just like ADHD, just like Asperger's, just like panic attacks, just like anxiety, just like absolutely anything, comes on a scale, right? Everybody, like a low mood isn't depression, but it's on a scale, right? It's a scale. But absolute depression is a loss of purpose. I had no purpose. Why was I going into this school, feeling terrible at school, coming home, having so much work to do, getting low grades because I couldn't keep up with the workload, even though I was working every second, and then feeling terrible anyway? What was the purpose of that? And I started experiencing panic attacks. I'd never experienced a panic attack before. Started having them all the time. Nobody around me, my mum at the time, didn't know how to handle them. didn't know what to say to me. So all of these things were coming up. And it was only when my mum said, look, you need to create a light at the end of the tunnel. You've got 2 years. That's a long time. 2 years is a long time. And for you, it feels really dark. It feels really miserable. You're wandering around with a glaze over your eyes, which is how I experienced depression, feeling low for no reason, or so I thought. And what I needed was a light at the end of the tunnel. And for those of you that may be experiencing that, and that's why you're here, this will help you find that light. And the light was, for me, my mum suggested, getting to university. Getting to university, there'll be so many other people who are just enthusiastic as you. You can join a club where you're aligned with what the other people feel and believe, and the interests are the same. You've got so many more opportunities, so many activities, less work. University, depending on your degree, I did English, is so much less harder. Now, I didn't know what I was studying. I didn't know where I was going to go, which university, but just the direction to get to university was enough to lift me out of that depression. Now, do I wish I'd never experienced panic attacks or depression? Hell to the no. Because understanding what it feels like to go through that and what it actually means, even if you don't understand it until a few years later, is so powerful for helping other people. Right? The panic attacks were the fear, the anxiety, the constant anxiety of trying to be somebody that people liked. Not really being authentic, showing up with a face that wasn't really my own. I'm not talking about makeup, I'm talking about my actions and my words, because I felt unsafe around the people I was with. But what if you could be authentic regardless of who was around you, right? Now, this story is setting, hopefully giving you an understanding of where I've come from, and that I'm not somebody who has just trained in this and pretends they know. I do actually know. So if you'll allow me to, I'll just explain the rest of my story, and it will feed in. We'll go back to this later. When I got to university, the first 2 months were incredible, amazing. They were wonderful. I had lived in the middle of nowhere. And then when I moved to university, I was literally a wall's distance away from another human, right? In a hall of 400 people. I got stuck in, and I was definitely enthusiastic. That's the word that describes me, enthusiastic, if you didn't know so already. And that was great. I was maybe a bit too full on for a lot of people, but I felt like the best version of myself. I felt free. I felt like I had a purpose. I felt like I was appreciated. But my sense of purpose was so much so that I won't go too deep into this, but when I was in Freshers Week, we have something called the Sing-Off, where every single hall, and at Loughborough, which is the university I went to, there are 16 different halls. Now, the halls are almost like your Hogwarts houses, right? They're very, you feel like a sense of purpose, you feel a sense of identity being there. The number one question during Freshers is, what hall do you belong to? Right, so my hall was called Alvin Richards. My hall was called Alvin Richards. And what this sing-off was, is that you would get into the club with about 4 other halls, and you would do a chant about how amazing your hall was. And on the stage, there would be one member of the hall, which was normally the hall chair, the person who led the hall. And they would lead this chant. They would shout, no microphone, just on this stage to what's probably, I think, about 4,000 people in the stadium. Now, I was there, never going to do that in my life. So scary. I was not a public speaker, did not have the confidence. No freaking way. I did not identify with that type of person. But also, when we were training for this, when we were learning the lyrics, they were all very negative. They were all very focused on bringing the other halls down. We had a hall called Kaylee, and maybe there had been one girl in Kaylee who maybe wore her skirt a little too short, or they had a freshers night where they all wore short skirts, and that was, I won't say the word, but they were labelled in that way, right? And other halls were labelled as really fancy and posh because it was one of the more expensive halls, right? So all other identities. And the point of the chants, or so the halls thought, was to bring each other down. And this really didn't sit well with me. Not because I'm some super moral, living on that high horse kind of person, but because in my eyes, that's not empowering. And I didn't swear back then, so I felt like I didn't fit in either. So I came out of one of these rehearsals and spoke to the hall warden. I said, I'm just a bit confused. Why does this exist? Why is this the way it is? How are they allowed to do that? because some of them are extremely derogatory, some racist, not good at all. And, some universities get bad rap for that kind of behaviour, as well they should. And the warden looked at her sub-warden and said, future hall chair. I had no idea what that meant. I didn't know. I thought it was just maybe some voluntary chill out thing, and didn't really think twice about it. But she said, you'd be a great hall chair. The hall chair is the leader. We had an 18-person committee, and the hall chair leads it. And there's a vice chair of social sex, action reps, etc. So I ran for vice chair in November. So I've been there at university since October, and in November I ran for this position. Now I didn't get it, but it put me way out of my comfort zone, And I had to just put myself out there because I felt really passionate about this cause. But I didn't get it. That was okay. I took myself to the bathroom and I was like, do you know what? The warden never said run for vice chair. They said run for hall chair. And the hall chair elections, half the committee elected in November and half are elected in the February. So I went home for Christmas, came back and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. This is meant to be. This is going to challenge me more than anything else. I'm going to develop myself. This is going to be great. I was running against 4 other people, or I was the 4th. So 3 other people. Went through the same process, putting myself out there, knocking on doors. I think at one point I had to stand on the table and sing Ho Down Throw Down. It was a great experience. Puts me way out of my comfort zone. So I learned a huge amount. But when I got to the results night, I didn't know what was going to happen. I was running against a really close friend of mine. And we were all standing together. And what they do is you have your initial votes, but then you also have everyone can do a second vote and a third vote and a fourth vote, depending on how many people there are. So there definitely wasn't like a clear winner who got the majority. So we were quite close. And people kept getting extracted and I was still in there. And then it was me and this other girl. And what the sub-votes came to was a 4-vote difference. A 4-vote difference. And I won. And it was amazing. And I was really, really happy. And I was really proud of myself for going through that experience. When I woke up the next day, I looked out my bedroom window. And on that girl's windows, her friends had stuck on the windows, #4votes. #4votes. My brain instantly said to myself, nobody thinks I can do this. They wish that she'd won. And I started to tell myself that every day. Every time I got resistance from the committee from being hall chair, I told myself, they wanted the other girl anyway. She's more fun than I am. She's louder. She's X, Y, and Z. And I told myself that to the point that I had so much anxiety, I wouldn't even go into the lunch hall. I was that anxious about what people thought of me. And I screwed over my experience. I did a huge amount and I achieved a huge amount as hall chair. And I'm very proud of what I did. I actually did the sing-off. I will come back to that on the confidence day. But I wasn't the best version of myself because I let myself be so overwhelmed by comparing myself. And actually it was 2 years later when I found out there were actually 70 votes difference. 70. But from a fact, I'd convinced myself that I wasn't worth it. Right? Convinced myself to look at what other people were saying, convinced myself that I was worthless. Now, I feel like what I'm telling you makes my life seem incredibly bleak. But going on from this, the spotlight as well, the spotlight with people taking photos of you on a night out, all these things, it was too much. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't have the skills. And these are the skills that I want to communicate to you. I want to give you these skills. And I'm going to save my final story about what happened in my final week of university until a bit later. Because if it wasn't for that experience, I wouldn't be here. But those are some of the background about why this exists. Because it's not just me. Not many people could stand in front of 4,000 people. Not many people could get into that spotlight position and actually stay confident and authentic in themselves and cope when things go wrong. I saw that throughout my childhood. I lived that myself. And I've seen it throughout my clients and the people that I work with. So that is why we're here. So, authenticity. What is it? Authenticity is a buzzword, but it's not really, no one ever really goes into that much detail about it. Authenticity is being yourself regardless of who you're around. But that requires confidence. So what is authenticity without the confidence? Authenticity without confidence is liking who you are, liking yourself. And I don't just mean your what you look like. I don't just mean your arms, your abs, your hair, or your sense of style. I mean all of it. I mean, what's your favourite food? Because if you went out with somebody, if you went on a date with somebody and you said, oh, I don't know who would have avocado toast on a night out, but, or not, sorry, on an evening meal for dinner, but maybe you go on a brunch and they said, ooh, that's disgusting. Or you said, oh, that looks nice. And they were like, oh, ugh, that's horrible. If you are not authentic, if you do not have the confidence to be yourself, you're going to then go for something else because you don't want them to judge you. You don't want them to judge you for liking avocado toast. I'm vegan. I want you to be able to authentically eat meat. You can apologize. You can say, are you okay with me eating meat in front of you? Or, that's out of respect. But you've got to be authentic in your choices. Are you authentic? Do you have the confidence? Do you have the recognition of who you actually are and why you are the way you are to actually express that in real life? Most of us aren't. Most of us are hiding behind a mask. Most of us are hiding behind a mask because we're too scared. Not just too scared to be ourselves in front of other people, but to be ourselves in front of ourselves. To stand naked in front of a mirror and to embrace who we really are. Don't get me wrong. There are things I like about my body more than others. There are things I dislike about my body more than others. There are things that I like more about my skills than others. What we're going through today is to focus on the things that you do like and the reason why that is so important. When you're authentic, you attract more people who are authentically like you, right? You stop finding yourself going on dates with people who constantly screw you over. You find yourself actually in a job where the people in that job and the organization, the workplace itself aligns with your values. It's very difficult to stay authentically you if you're surrounded every day by people who are constantly showing different values. It is your responsibility to be authentically you, but it does make it a hell of a lot easier if you're not around people of the opposite all of the time. So I will admit that. I'll go into that a bit later. Okay, so what I want to know, I'm going to pass it over to you in the chat. Can you think of a time when you weren't authentic? A time when you weren't yourself? Go into as little or as much detail as you like. A time when maybe you came out of the experience thinking, why did I do that? That wasn't really like me. I feel really like, I don't feel like myself. I feel like I was somebody else. I was trying to be somebody else. I don't feel comfortable with how I was. See if you can think of something and pop that in the chat and I'll keep my eyes open for it. I'll give you an example of mine if you'll let me. I have worked at some festivals. I used to do a lot of work at festivals over the summer to get some extra cash, but also in these festival situations, there are a lot of very confident, very cocky males. And so you learn very quickly to stand on your own 2 feet, to be very resilient to their comments about your shirt being a certain height, your body, your whatever, right? Not that it's okay, but you learn to be very resilient. And one day, they were I'd been helping them out, been doing some bar work. They were driving to a different festival and it was pretty much going past my house. So I said, do you mind if you drop me there? Like, it would really help me take off the train fare that I'm going to charge you anyway. So we're in the car. I was in the front seat with this guy called Jamie. And Jamie was one of the leaders of, leaders of bar operations. Very, when I say confident, a lot of confident people are quite insecure in themselves unless they're authentically confident. And I felt intimidated by him. And I felt that I needed to be who he wanted me to be. That was what I told myself. So I was in the car and I was trying to be cool. I was trying to make jokes. If he made a joke at me, I'd laugh it off. I'd try and be cool back, right? And this journey it was supposed to be about 3 hours, but it was about 4.5. It was a long journey. And so we were in the car and kept on going like this. And when they dropped me off, I started walking home and I felt, he was responding really well. There was no issues. I didn't feel I'd been made fun of. I was still on my resilient, right? I can do this. Like, you're not going to make me feel rubbish about myself, no matter what you say about me. And I started walking home and I thought, ooh, like, wonder whether I was okay. Like, how did I seem to him? And I thought, if it turned out that Jamie didn't like who I was in the car, how would that make me feel? If Jamie didn't like who I was in the car, what would I think to that? And I instantly felt sick. And actually, I didn't feel sick because I was wondering, oh, what if he doesn't like me? That's going to be horrible. I feel sick that, like, I couldn't live up to his expectations. I felt sick because if he didn't like me, it was because it wasn't even me. And the truth is, you don't even know what somebody wants. We'll go into this in the confidence section. You don't know what somebody wants from you. You don't know what they're looking for. They couldn't even tell you if you ask them. So I realized then and there that the only way I'm going to feel truly comfortable, truly confident in myself, is if I don't change who I am for anybody else. And then when they don't like me, I can say, that's fine because this is me and I can't change who I am. I can, but then I won't like me. And today is all about you liking you. You can't expect other people to like you if you don't like you. So are you with me with this? Are you with me that we're gonna learn to like ourselves? Because trust me, there are parts of you that you do like, yes, but there are also parts of you that you don't. Or there are parts of you that you just manage, you just accept. But can you actually love yourself entirely? Let's have a look. I think blokes really struggle with this, unfortunately, daily. Masking is a trait that you live with, similar to my brother and my dad. Learning to unmask, show your true self. Yeah, rather than being defensive, right? Now, with my background in psychology and all the work I do, I realize that I understand that behavior. Defensiveness rather than showing who you really are. When you were young, you used to try and show off. You weren't true to your core beliefs, and that came from your own insecurity, absolutely. And then you'd show, I imagine, Jordan, that you would show off in front of your friends and then leave and feel terrible about yourself. Or feel like, oh, they only liked me because I was funny. Or they're actually only laughing at me. Whereas those people probably thought, he's the funniest guy I've ever met. Why am I not that funny? Right? So today is going to be hard hitting, but the point is, I said this to you before you came on this workshop, that you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get used to being uncomfortable to actually make changes. This isn't some course that you can just sit through and just chill through. We're going to make changes, okay? We're going to get honest and brutally honest. But before we do, you need to be in the right state. I'm standing up, got my shoes on, got my leggings on so I can move. Before this, I was dancing with my partner, getting hyped for this, okay? And that's called a state change, right? How do you stand when you're feeling depressed or feeling low? Do it for me now. I know I can't see you, but in your seat or where you're standing, you don't have to stand up. How would you look when you're depressed? What does your face look like? What should your body look like? Head down. Not really very impressed face. Shoulders a bit bent over. Probably hands around your face, right? The second way of changing your state is through your thoughts. And we're going to get on that tomorrow in the mindset day. But today we're going to look at the physiology so that before we go into the day, you are feeling ready to get the most out of this, okay? So what I want you to do is smile. Smile for me. Like, just your biggest smile. I know it's weird, but do it with me. You're here, you've paid the money to be here, but most importantly, you've taken the time to be here. So smile. Smile for me. Why am I asking you to do that? Well, and many of you will have heard me say this before, you have 50 muscles in your face. 50 muscles in your face. So when you're smiling, you're moving some of them that haven't been moved for a while. And the thing is when you smile, you release endorphins, neuropeptides that make you feel good. So people who believe in toxic positive psychology, in toxic positivity, will say, why are you telling people to smile when they're having a bad day? Because it helps. Because it actually works. Because scientifically it's proven, right? What do we do when we're feeling low? We focus on the fact that we're feeling low. We tell ourselves more things that make us feel low. So right now, no matter how you're feeling, no matter what's gone on in your day, no matter whether you think you've labelled it as good or bad, this is good. This is good. And we're going to make us feel good as well. So smile, okay? Smile for me. Now what I want you to do is drop your tongue. Drop your tongue down from the roof of your mouth. You don't have to do it while you're smiling, just generally. When you drop your tongue down from the roof of your mouth, it's such a tiny movement that it will make you feel a little bit more relaxed. Now in the chat, and while you put these in, I'll read what else you put. Tell me what your energy is like out of 10 right now. Okay, what is your energy out of 10? Out of 10, how are we feeling? 10 being the highest, 10 being, oh my God, I'm feeling 10 out of 10, I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so energized to be here. Be honest with me. Be absolutely honest with me. How are we feeling? A 5 out of 10, cool. Thank you for your honesty, Maria. Really appreciate that. That's not too bad. It's not bad. I can cope with 5. Jordan's a solid 8 out of 9. I'd say that's because you did some dancing. Daniel's a 4. Okay, we can get on board with that. Who else is going to come through and let us know? There are 6 people watching right now. So we'll wait for some of you to tell me how you're feeling. Out of 10. So I imagine most of you are sitting. That's cool. So what I want you to do is sit right now as though you were 10 out of 10. How would you sit if you were 10 out of 10? Sit, like put that energy in. I don't know what it looks like for you. You're 6, Curtis, cool. Okay, you're a 5, Jenny. Right, in your seats, sit like you were a 10 out of 10. Sit like you're a 10 out of 10. How does that feel? How does that feel? Do I have to type it? You can type it if you want. You can just tell me you're a 5 or a 6. And now, sit like you're a level 2. Sit like you're a level 2 out of 10. And hold that position. You're a 2 out of 10. You're feeling a bit meh. You're a bit bored, not bored, hopefully. You're just a little bit energyless, a little bit unmotivated, a bit low. Imagine learning in that state for 3 or 4 hours for 3 days. Imagine learning as a level 2. Do you think you're going to pick up much? Do you think you're going to be on board with everything? Do you think you're going to get involved? Do you think you're going to want to be here? Probably not. No matter what I say to you, you're probably not going to want to be here. So go to level 10 again. Go to level 10. Sit like a level 10. Smile. Get those endorphins going. Okay, now what I want you to do, I want to challenge you to commit to not dropping below an 8. Do you think you can do that? We're going to have rest breaks. We're going to have breaks roughly every hour, although it might be an hour and a half in to this section because the intro takes a while, okay? Can I hit thumbs up in the chat? Thumbs up or yes, if you're with me, that you're going to not drop below an 8 out of 10 in your seats. I want to see that come through. I want to see that come through. If we were in person, we would have music, but if I play music, I'm going to get blocked because I can't do any copyright music, okay? So we're going to sit like a 8, 9, 10 out of 10. You're going to try. Great. Brilliant. Okay, so whilst we get those comments in, just a few things to say before we get stuck into the first module. Research says that if you just sit and listen to me, your memory in 3 months' time is only going to be 10% of what I've said. In 3 months' time, only 10% of what I've said today will remain in your mind. 10%. Now, I know that you've paid some money to be here, but the point is, again, I'm going to say again, you've paid your time. Time is more valuable than anything. I've paid my time to be here and to prepare all this and to come tomorrow and the next day. I don't want to waste my time and don't want to waste your time. So in 3 months' time, I don't want you to just have 10%. So research says that if you sit and write notes, that stat of 10% jumps up to 40 to 50% memory. 40 to 50%. So if I quiz you in 3 months' time, you'll remember 40 to 50% of what we've done. Even if you never look at the notes again, right? And I get it. I've been in schools. I've worked with a lot of people. Some of you don't like writing. I'm a writer. I've learned that not everybody is. So draw. Draw. Write numbers, write notes, whatever you need to do to acknowledge what's going on. Because when you do that, you're not just listening and using your brain, you're using your physiology, right? You're copying things out again. Anything that resonates with you, and not everything will. Some things will stand out. Some things you need to hear. And some things you already know. You already know. You've been following me for a while. Some of this stuff is already what you know, but sometimes you need to hear it in a new way. Okay? These 3 days will only work if you're in receptive mode. Your beliefs will not change if you are not ready and open to changing. Right? A fixed mindset looks like, oh, no, that's too cringy. I don't want to smile. I'm going to smile. A fixed mindset is yeah, but I'm not in that situation. That doesn't, that's not relevant to me. All of this is relevant to you in some way. All of this you can use in your own life. An open mindset, a flexible mindset is yes, I'm on board, whatever it takes. I'm going to try this stuff. I'm going to try it. So let's be open. It only works if you're open, okay? So hopefully you've already jotted some things down, but get out that notebook or that piece of paper. And what I would like you to do, we're going to do our first big activity, is to draw a square, draw a box, roughly about that size. It can be whatever you like, as long as you can write in the middle, okay? So draw yourself a box. This is module 1, okay? Today is authenticity, but module 1 is your identity roadmap, right? We are going to create a roadmap for you, not just for this program, but for your life, for your development, okay? So you know where you are and where you want to be, right? You are living in a box. You're living in a box of who you think that you are, who your experience, your beliefs, your childhood, your family have told you and convinced you that you are. That's where we're drawing a box. You're imagining that you're in this little box, and everything that you are and believe that you are is in this box. But this box isn't actually you. This box isn't you. This box limits you. This box limits who you can be. And we want to look at the identity you really have underneath all of those limiting beliefs, underneath all of the weaknesses that you focus upon all of the things that you tell yourself that you are not. Who are you really underneath all of that? What does the inside of your box look like right now? Is it messy? Or have you taken time to clean it? Is there beliefs in there and thoughts in there and stuff in there that's been in there since you were 12, since you were 30, since you were 20? Stuff that you haven't cleared out, things that people said to you when you were 6 that you still carry along with you, identities that you still hold on to that are not your true identity. Have you decorated it? What is inside your box? Okay, so this is where we'll start, because everything that you want to be, have, and do is possible, but it only exists outside of this box. Because if it existed inside the box, you would already have that already. You would already be that person. You would already be doing that thing. Okay, so it might get a little bit complicated. Now, I said in the chat, can you bring along some highlighters and bring along some coloured pens? So hopefully you've got those, but if not, just adapt it to what I'm saying, okay? So in the box, let's get a thumbs up if you've drawn your box already and you're following along, okay? Again, any questions, just pop them in there. Inside the box, I want you to write all the ways that you currently see yourself. The good, yes, but also the bad and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. All the ways that you currently see yourself. Okay, so it might be physical things. The way that the things that you don't like about your body, the things that you do like about your body, right? Things that you love about your body, the things that you don't like about your body. We're doing good and bad, remember? The emotional side. Maybe you're told you're too emotional. I definitely was. I definitely used to be. Maybe you're really confident. You want to put that down there. What's your job? Your job's part of your identity. What is it that you do? What are you good at? What's your career? What are you not so good at? Your relationships, right? Are you a wife? Are you a husband? Are you a girlfriend? Are you a mother? Are you a sister? So I would say I'm a sister, I'm a girlfriend, I'm a daughter, I'm a niece, all of these things. Put those in the box, right? What are words that other people use to describe you? What would other people describe you as? I want to think about a specific person. What would they say about you? What are some thoughts that you think about yourself? Thoughts that you think about yourself? Worthless? Amazing? Pretty? Trying my best? Not good enough? Patient? Annoying? What things do you say about yourself? What are some things that you think that you're not? I'm not a sporty person. Not very organised. I'm not a very healthy person. I'm not very disciplined. I don't like healthy food. So take some time. Take some time to write out those words or phrases. Try and fill it up as much as you can. So again, make sure you've got the good, you've got the bad, you've got the ugly. I'll run through those ideas again. Your physical, things about your body, things about your sporting ability. What's the good? What's the bad? What's the amazing? The facts, right? What was your job? What's your age? What's your gender? If you don't identify really with those sorts of things, you don't have to write them. All elements of your identity, your relationships, the words that other people use to describe you. I get bubbly quite a bit, enthusiastic. I sometimes get calm. I got calm the other day. So I was doing this workshop with a couple of other people. And at the end of the day, and at the end of the sessions, we went around and said one thing that we really liked about the way the other people presented. And one guy said, we like the way you were really calm. I almost burst out laughing. Me on a good day is calm, yes. When I'm presenting, I feel like I talk really fast and I'm very enthusiastic, right? So those are two things that I would put in that box. Okay. But maybe calm less so. But something that someone else would describe me as. Depends on the mood, right? Think about your different moods. Jordan's box is almost full. Draw a bigger box. That's okay. That's okay. I would say either you can work on it, do more on this later, but I think the important part is that we do it now. That actually we get it all out now. And to be honest, if you want to, get another piece of paper and draw another box and write some more in that other box. That's what I would say. If you're writing in a notebook, open it up, put another box on the other page. If we're thinking about the box, it's 3D anyway, so you've got a few different sides, so there you are. And the things that you're not, the things that you are not, the things that you identify as not being. I'm not a runner. That's what I say, or I used to say. I'm not very stylish. I am flexible. I am a good cook. I don't like broccoli. I love broccoli. I don't like bananas. I love peanut butter, right? Obviously, you could go on forever, but the things that really, really you associate with. Okay, how are we doing? How are our boxes going? And then just put a tick, just put an emoji of your choice when you're nearing on being done. No rush at all. Just let me know how you're getting on. Again, this is the challenging part. This is the uncomfortable part. This is the part where you get really brutally honest with yourself. Love it, Daniel. Inside the box is how you label yourself. Okay, I'll repeat again. So that's great. Okay, sorry about your connection issues, Maria. Yes, so Jenny, what we're writing inside the box is all the ways you currently see yourself. So physical, in terms of your body, what you say about your body, good, bad, and amazing. Good, bad, ugly, amazing, whatever. Emotional, right? What words would you use to describe yourself? What words would other people use to describe you? What job are you doing? Right? I think, do you know what? I'm going to put these prompts in the chat. Okay? So that should help rather than me. I think it's gone. There you go. Yeah, that should help. So you've got some prompts there. So I don't want to keep repeating me for you. Maria, I like the emoji. Okay, we seem to be nearing towards the end. This next bit, you can carry on working on the box if you want to, but start having to think about this. In the chat, based off all of the words and the phrases inside that box, write a sentence, or think of a sentence first. Think of a sentence telling us who you are. Again, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the amazing, the bad, and the ugly. It might not be pretty. It might not be. I don't know what your level of self-confidence and self-awareness and authenticity is. So I'm anticipating that some of you have got overwhelmingly bad stuff in this box. But also some of you might have like really great stuff in the box. But look at, when you're done, sort of, or nearing on being done, start having a look at the themes here. I'm not going to tell you what to put. You can, whatever stands out more to you, whatever you identify more as, what do you think of yourself right now? Obviously, if you're meeting someone for the first time and you want to impress them, you're probably not going to tell them the sentence that really describes what's in your box. But here with me now in a safe space where I'd like to think that we're all feeling like we can trust each other, feeling like we're in a safe place, that we can actually share with each other what that sentence really is. Maybe write it down on your piece of paper first and then share it with us if you're feeling comfortable. Okay. This is the true authenticity, getting deep, dark, and honest with ourselves. What would you describe real you, insecurities and everything as? Right? And it might be that you just want to describe, do you know what? I'm a software developer. I am 25 and I like to drink beer. Literally, that could be your sentence. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. Because that tells me a lot about you as well. Don't overthink it. Okay? Those of you who are still writing, you can keep on going. I'm going to move on. This still using the box, so we're not moving on. But if you've got a green pen, or you can change the colours to however you want, just remember what they are. With your, or green highlighter, sorry, just a highlighter. Okay, you need 2 highlighters, let's do that one. With one of the highlighters, highlight your good qualities. So I'm going to call it the green highlighter just so I remember. Your green highlighter, highlight the qualities that would societally be seen as good, right? If they're just neutral, like you just leave them unhighlighted. But if they're good, patient, calm, I am financially stable, I have a daughter, I live in a house, I am good at sports, right? Anything that's good. We're going to highlight the good qualities. Okay, I don't know how many words you've got, so this could take 2 seconds or it could take 10 minutes. Okay, and a couple more seconds to highlight those good qualities. Now what I'd like you to do is underline the qualities that you want to get better at. Underline the qualities that you want to get better at. Might be some of the good qualities anyway, right? The ones you want to improve at, the ones that you identify as, but you want to be even better at. So it could be financials, it could be, I've got a great figure, but I want an even better figure. I want to get even better at that. I am a cat mum, but I want to be an even better cat mum. I say that to my cats over there. I need to get better at catching mice when she brings them into the house, which happened for the first time this morning. Okay, so we have so far highlighted the good qualities and we are underlining the ones that we want to get better at. Okay. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you've done that, and then we'll move on to the next one. If you've done your circle and your highlight. Have we done that? No, it wasn't a circle, it was an underline. My apologies. An underline and highlight. Get that thumbs up whenever you're ready. Great, wonderful. Okay, next step. Circle the ones that you're already pretty strong at or most proud of. So when we said the good qualities, those were on society's level. Great, thank you for the thumbs up. Now we're talking about circling the ones that you're already pretty strong at, but also most proud of. So the things you are most proud of. Jenny, I would encourage you, if you want to, you can either sort of rewind a little bit, because you should be able to do that while I'm live. You can rewind and catch up, and then you can join us live after the break. There'll probably be like a 10-15 minute break, depending on how long you need. So you can do that if you don't want to rush. Or you can do some more of it in the break. But the point is that this is for you, and the best way that you're going to do this the best is by taking your time with it. So whatever you need, Jenny. So we've done that. We've circled the ones that we're most proud of, the ones that we like the most, that make us feel really good about ourselves, okay? And now, this is my favourite part, right? Outside of the box. So you should have some space around here. Outside of the box, write the things that you want to be. The things that aren't in, it's backwards on my screen, so I can't tell where I'm putting my pen. Not the things that are currently inside the box, but the things that you wish were in the box. So this box is your identity, your reality as you currently see it. But outside the box, what is it that you want to get to? What are some things that you wish were in the box, wish were in your reality right now? And I'll give you some ideas. It could be the person that you wish you were, the type of work that you really want to do. If you're not in the job that you want to be in, and I'm not saying give me the title of the job, saying give me the skills. What are the skills that you want to be doing on a daily basis? What are words that describe you on a really great 10 out of 10 day? Right? So some of those should be in your box in the middle that maybe are probably circled saying you wish, that were underlined with the ones that you want to get better at because you want to be more consistent at those good things. But on a really great day that maybe you don't do every single day, what are those? Maybe the type of work that you currently do or you want to do. Maybe you love what you're doing. Sorry, I said that wrong. The stuff that you want to do. Or how you wish other people saw you. Or maybe how you wish you saw yourself, right? Do you wish you saw yourself with more love? Self-love. Maybe that's what you want to put outside of the box. Maybe that's not in the box for a minute. Maybe a sense of acceptance isn't in the box. And that's what you wish you had, because there's a lot of challenges right now. And actually, if you could accept those things, you could be calmer, which would lead to you being better able to cope with those challenges. What do you wish was inside the box that currently isn't? So I want to share one of those things. One of those things, maybe the one that stands out the most, maybe just one that you're okay with sharing with us. Just pop it in the chat so I know that you're up to speed and you're on board with this. This is going to be our longest stint, okay, before the break. It's going to be our longest stint. So remember that 8 minimum out of 10 energy. You can be calm, but you can still have energy, because energy allows you to be focused. So let me tell you one thing that I wish that I had. I wish that I could see myself in the way that other people see me. So I wish that I could identify with some of the ways that other people see me in terms of on social media or in the job that I do, because that would give me more confidence to show up with that identity next time. So with confidence, you're actually being even more confident. You wish that people would accept you without your wheelchair. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you, Maria. That's great. Let's try, Anne Maria. I'm just going to throw out something for you. I didn't say this. You've done the task excellently. But try and write some things that are about you, not about other people, because that's what you're saying, is that other people's boxes currently have not accepting in it, and outside of their box they need to be more accepting. So that's about them. Okay, so what about you do you wish you had? Because you can't, as part of your identity, have other people are more accepting towards me. That's not how it works, right? Maybe it's to be not as hung up when people aren't as accepting of me as I feel like they should be, right? You would like to be a calm, thriving business owner who has more time for being present with your partner and dogs. Daniel, you have just done the next exercise, which was to create a sentence that summarizes this version of you. So round of applause to you for reading my mind. A calm, thriving business owner who has more time for being present with your partner and dogs. That's excellent. Jordan would say a big one is being more of an action taker, overthinking less. Definitely get on board with that. One thing I'm trying to do, if you listen to my podcast today, you'll know about this, but I'm trying to do a 1 mile run every day. Yes, because of the exercise, because a lot of what I do is stuck inside, sitting down, or standing up, but I'm not really moving. So getting outside gets me the exercise, but 2, it's the discipline. And a 1 mile run isn't very far. And I tell myself if I can't do it as being an able-bodied individual, then it's pathetic, right? So it's the discipline, right? But I don't define myself as a runner. So maybe I need to do that, but I procrastinate that. Awesome. Okay, cool. So do you guys want to jump on with what Daniel has done? And now looking at those things that you wish you had, wish you were, which were your identity. And I'm not saying like, oh, I wish I was something that isn't realistic, right? We want to have realistic. And I'd say, well, who says what's realistic, right? I quit my job to work by myself with no plan. People would have said that where I am now was unrealistic. Okay. So trust me, I'm not someone who's saying that, oh, what are you talking about? Going to the Olympics? That's not realistic. That's what I'm saying. But we're not talking about planting magic. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Okay, so if you would be so kind, these should be easy for you to share with me. What is a sentence that describes this version of you, right? And it should make you feel really excited. So Daniel, sorry, let me know if it's all right for you, Dan. How does it feel thinking of yourself being that calm, thriving business owner who is present with your partner and makes time for your dogs? How does that make you feel? I imagine spending time with your dogs means that you go out for more walks, which means that you feel stronger in yourself. You feel like you've got more fresh air, you're more grounded. You have more time to think without texting on your phone all the time, right? You feel accomplished because of the stuff that you're doing with your work. You're a better business owner because you're calm, right? You're a better partner because you're calm. You don't come home and get stressed about what's going on at work. What are the rest of yours? Jordan, what's one sentence would describe this version of you that you wish you had right now? What would that version look like? What would that version look like? I mean, I'm thinking off the bat here, I haven't written these words down, but I'd like to describe maybe some of the things that I'm not, that I haven't thought this all through personally, without doing the same exercise. Again, somebody who can take on board criticism, but also stays strong and bold in their ideas, and confident in what they're communicating. Because sometimes I can doubt myself and I can think, oh, I need to be doing that, I need to be doing that, rather than staying true to myself, which again is this whole authenticity idea. So let's get some more sentences. I'm not gonna let you off this one because this is an easy one, this is a fun one, this is an exciting one. What is something that sums up that version of you? And we've got to do this. We want to go on to the next step. Okay. So make sure you've got it written down in your journal, right next to the one that you wrote before. You wish you were happy and be happy with who you are. That is powerful, Maria. Thank you. That's brilliant. Jordan, you would be an enthusiastic and confident multi-million-pound business owner who is present with each day and can openly take advice and criticism from others. Amazing. Feel the energy in that sentence, right? Feel the energy in that sentence. So Maria, let's again, you haven't done anything wrong here. What you're then saying is you wish that, you are, right? If we're saying this future version of yourself, you are someone who is happy and you love yourself unconditionally as who you are, no matter what anybody else says. Would that be accurate, Maria? Right? Would that be accurate? So you're somebody who is happy and fully content with who they are, regardless of what other people say. Right? Now, what we're going to do, I believe, before we finish up for this module and have a little break, because I'm bringing you along hard, okay? I get that. This is challenging stuff. That's why I'm so proud of you for being here. What I'm about to do next is we're going to do a swish pattern. Now, swish patterns are from neuro-linguistic programming. And when I heard of them, I was like, that sounds a bit weird, sounds a bit strange. I've never tried this. And I started trying it with some of my clients a while ago now. And the first client I did it with, the results were remarkable. And so I thought, oh, maybe it was just a fluke. Maybe it was just that client. And I did it with another one. And they felt, and it was remarkable, the result. And again and again and again, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this old version of ourselves. So we need that sentence. Have a look at that sentence, this current identity that you're holding, and then also the identity that you know you can have. Because the point is, this identity that's outside of your box is possible, and I'm going to prove that to you, okay? So you've got those sentences, you've got those ideas in your mind. It might be a sentence, it might be an image. Doesn't matter if you don't need a sentence figured out. If you can see it, if you can feel it, if you can feel excited by it or feel drained by it, whichever one you're thinking about, then that's enough, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is to close your eyes for me. Close your eyes. So no peeking. You shouldn't be able to see me. If I was to walk away from the camera, you'd never know. You would, because you wouldn't be able to hear me anymore. Right? Close your eyes. See if you can close your eyes. I get there might be distractions around. That's okay, but try and stay as present with this exercise as possible. You're here to make a change, not to waste 4 hours. And I'm not either. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is I want you to visualize the current, we're going to call it old, the old identity. The identity that is the words within this box, the box that you've just created, the sentence that summarizes the way that you see yourself now, not the way that you wish you did see yourself, but the way that you see yourself now. How do you feel being this person? What does a typical day feel like? Might be energetic, might be happy, might be pretty low, might be pretty unimpressed by life, might be guilty, grieving. What are the feelings? How does your body feel? How are you sitting in your chair? And actually make that shape. Sit in the way like we did with level 2. What level is this character? What level is this version of you? Probably the level that you said earlier at the beginning of this. Sit like that 5. Sit like that 6. What were you at the beginning? What is this identity of you? How does it feel when you tell yourself that sentence? That you are insecure, that you are not good at something, that people judge you. How does that make you feel? Physically embody that. What colours are there? What can you see? Dull it down a little bit. Make it a little bit duller. Take out some of that colour. How does it feel now? What can you see? What comes to mind? Now, no writing in the chat. This is you being in your minds, and I'm challenging you not to open your eyes until I say open your eyes, okay? So keep those eyes closed. What does this version of you look like? This identity that you've been holding yourself in this box as. This version of you that has limited you until now. The version of you that doesn't always feel great and often doesn't feel great. What does life look like from this perspective? How do you feel going into your job from this identity? How are you around your family with this identity? Really feel that. Great. And now what I want you to do is shrink that. So this is a full screen image you're seeing. I want you to shrink it down into the bottom right hand corner of your mind. So almost as though you're watching TV and there's now a sort of sign language box on the bottom right, okay? That's where I want you to shrink that image. Now, full screen, I want you to bring up the version of you, the new version of you, the version of you that you wrote around the box, outside of the box, the version of you that you wrote that sentence of, that you are happy with who you are, that you're enthusiastic and confident, whatever those words are, that you're a thriving business owner, that you're calm. What does that version of you look like? What does it look like? How does it feel to be that version of you? What are the colours? What does life look? What are the colours of life from this perspective? How does life feel with this identity? Sit like this identity. Change that posture. You should feel a physical change in your body. From going from sitting like the version of you that was before to the version of you now, the version of you where you're feeling the way that you wish you felt a lot more of the time, the version of you that is as successful as you want to be in whatever way. How does that version of you sit? Sit like it. Move your arms like it, right? Stand like it if you want to. What does that version of you feel like? What do people think of you? What when you look at people, how are they looking at you? How are you looking at other people? How does it feel in this place, okay? And when I say swish, what I want you to do is I want you to switch those images around. So you're going to switch that big one, shrink it down and swap it with the smaller one. And the smaller, the old version of you, the old identity is going to become full screen, okay? So keep looking at a bright, colourful, empowering image. In 3, 2, 1, swish, bring up that old, duller version of you. That sentence. Does it look dull? Dull it down. What was that sentence that you were saying about yourself? The sentence that may not have been bad, but was just a bit meh, just a bit average, just a bit coping with life, just doing what was necessary, not above and beyond, just what was necessary. Not feeling enough all the time, feeling like you're never enough for other people, feeling like you're upsetting people, feeling like you're not good enough in yourself. Feel it. Am I trying to make you feel bad right now? Yes. No. Yes and no. I'm trying to make you feel like this identity of you that you no longer want to associate with, not because it's bad, just because there is more for you. So feel, embody this version of you. What are those colours? They're probably darker, duller. What does life look like? How do people respond to you? What do you like around your family? You're probably less present, on your phone more. You get a bit angry, frustrated. When I'm not the best version of myself, I get frustrated easily. How does that feel? What does that look like? In 3, 2, 1, swish, bring up that new bright image, that colourful image that fills you with so much excitement, that fills your life with colour, that makes you excited to get up in the morning. Feel yourself sitting up in your chair, wanting to get on with the day, excited and motivated. Tap into that version of you, because if you can write about it, if you can write that sentence, then you know that you can feel that. You know that it exists. You can take advice from other people. You can take criticism. You are calm in difficult situations. See that version of you. Feel that version of you. 3, 2, 1, swish. Bring up that old, duller image. It might be getting harder to bring that image up now. But bring it up, see what you can see, feel what you can feel. Does it feel as good in this place? In 3, 2, 1, swish, bring up the new, brighter image. The image of you where you're feeling calm, you're feeling successful. You feel like you're doing the best that you can, and anything that you don't achieve, anything that you don't manage is okay, you've done enough. But you know that you are acting under your potential, and there is so much more you can achieve, and that is exciting, not disappointing. You're excited by the possibility of the future. You are motivated. You are calm. You like this version of you. You feel total self-acceptance. What is it that looks like? How does it feel to be on a stage in front of hundreds of thousands of people? How does it feel to be waking up and doing what you love every day? How does it feel like to give your daughter a truly present hug, your child a hug, and them hug you back because they are not afraid that you're going to fly off the handle? To have a conversation with your partner where you are honest and open because you know and they know that you're not going to fly off the handle, that you can be your true selves and not hide any part of you. How does it feel? What does life look like? 3, 2, 1, swish, bring up that old version of you, the duller version of you. Again, it might be probably getting a bit harder now. What does life look like? How do you feel? Sit in the chair. How do you feel as this old version of you, the identity that you have previously, before now, been living? And 3, 2, 1, swish, sit immediately up like you were excited, like you are 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10 for this experience in your life that's coming up. Really focus on that. And I'm going to give you 5 seconds without me speaking to really hone in on that, to really focus on that without my distraction. Keep those eyes closed. This is for you. Nobody's looking at you right now, and if they are, it's not about them, it's about you. So keep those eyes closed. What I want you to do is, for the final time, bring up that version of you, all of those insecurities, the old version that never doesn't feel quite good enough, that maybe We're always going to have things that we need to work on, things that we could be better at. But where these things really bother you, where these things you're thinking about daily, if I'm honest, the biggest one that I think about is I experience a lot of bloating, so I'm constantly thinking about my stomach and the way that I feel. And that is something that I think about every single day. If I didn't have to think about that, I'd feel so much more freer. So that's the part of me that I wish I was. Bring up that image. It's just one example. Bring up that image of the things that plague you today, that you struggle with. And what I want you to do is see it full screen, that dull image. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to put that image into a TV screen. So it's no longer full parameter of your vision. You're putting it into a TV screen. So there's a little rim of black around it. And then gradually, that TV screen is going to get a little bit further away from you. It's almost like it's going down a tunnel, like a tube, getting further away from you. Or maybe going in a plane going into the sky, getting smaller and smaller, duller and duller. All those insecurities, all those anxieties, all those troubles, focuses on challenges that you don't feel prepared or able to make and take on. See it getting smaller and smaller, duller and duller, fuzzier, grayer, darker, until it's finally disappeared from the tunnel. Watch it until it's a dot, and then wait until it finally disappears. Keep those eyes closed. You're nearly there. Nearly there. You're doing such a good job. Finally, bring up that new image, that shinier version of you that fills you with excitement, that fills you with as though you want such a great day where you feel that no matter what happens, you're going to be amazing, you're going to do amazing, nothing can get in your way, where you're feeling wonderful, the version of you that is going to wake up tomorrow, right? This is the version of you that is possible and is going to wake up tomorrow. How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What are your first thoughts in this amazing version of you, the successful version of you? How do you feel in the morning? How do you feel about life? How do you feel about going into your life? Focus on those colours. Feel the feelings associated with this more empowered image. Version of you that wakes up on day 2, ready to learn about mindset, to change your own mindset. What does that look like? Okay, now go to day 2. You might want to see this image of you in front of you and actually step into almost the body of you if you want to, or just see your mind change, whatever resonates with you best, right? Your brain works differently to every other person in this call. So what image works best for you? Step into however way you want that version of you in 2 days' time on day 3. How are you around your family after practicing being this identity for 2 days, waking up feeling like this empowered version of you? How do your family react to this shinier, brighter, more energetic, calmer, more present version of you? What does that look like? What does your home life look like? What is your relationship at church, Maria, like? What is your relationship with the gym like? Now go to 2 weeks' time. You've practiced being this best version of you every single day. Just like me, doing this 1 mile run every day. What does life look like for you in 2 weeks' time, having practiced this every single day? How does life feel? How does life feel? 2 weeks from now, it's August, mid-August. Now go to 5 months. 5 months from now, step into that version of you. 5 months, the end of the year, the start of the new year. You've practiced this every single day, tapping into this empowered version of you, letting go of those anxieties, focusing on the things that you are good at, focusing on the empowered version of you that you want to be and you know you can be. Because every one of you that has written in this chat, and every one of you that's thinking what you want to be that haven't written in the chat, What you've written is possible. What you've written is so possible. In 5 months' time, having tapped into that version of you and shown up with that identity, in 5 months' time, what does your life look like? What's changed? Has your job changed? Have your relationships changed? Are you in a new relationship? What's your relationship like with your kids? What's your relationship like with your body? What does your body look like? What does your business look like? Now go to a year. Tap into the version of you in 1 year's time. 1 year's time. 1 whole year's time. You're back on the 29th of July. What have you accomplished in 1 year's time because you tapped into that version of you? You tapped into the version of you that is confident. So when an opportunity comes along, you don't shy away in your own insecurities. You don't shy away in your own limiting beliefs. You step up to the challenge because you know that that is part of who you are, and the opportunity wouldn't have come along if you weren't capable of it. 1 year's time. Now we're going to step into the version of us in 5 years' time. 5 years from now. 2027. The version of you in 2027. Having done this for 5 years, what could your business be like? Maybe you're in your second business in 5 years. What is that version of you? What does that look like? What do you sound like? What clothes do you wear? How do you stand? How do you stand? How do you see yourself? That's such a big one. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself with love? How do you identify yourself? How much do you love your life? What would you rate your life out of 10? What are the colours like? Having done this every single day, tapped in, woken up every day, saying, this is the version of me that I am. This is the version of me that I choose to identify with today, because the truth is you can identify with any version. So why not this one? Why not this one? So I'm going to give you 5 seconds to hold on to that image. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clear the screen and open your eyes. Cassie has woken up, ready to remind me that it's time for a break in about 1 minute. So, clear the screen, open your eyes if you haven't done so already. Because the truth is that you can be this version of you. You can be that person. 1 minute. You can be that person. You can be the person that achieves all of those things that you want to achieve. This is not some version of you that only exists when you shut your eyes. Although if you find it easier to envision it in the morning, shut your eyes, wake up, shut your eyes and envision this version of you, tap into it. So in the chat, do you believe this version of you is possible? And do you believe that you can be this person? Do you believe that you can be this person today? The $1 million business, £1 million business might not be here today. But do you believe that you are someone who can create a £1 million business every day? Not just on some days, not just on today, where I'm telling you that you can, and I'm reminding you can, but on the days where maybe you feel lower, when you don't feel like that person. Can you? Do you believe that it's possible to show up every day and do it? Yes, Maria, you do believe it. What about the rest of you? Is it possible? Is it possible? Because over the next few days, we're going to look at the things that are holding you back from being this person. So I know you've got limiting beliefs, right? We're going to look at that later. I know you've got people who get on your nerves and tell you can't do stuff, and that really affects you. And I'm going to talk about that through. I'm not saying it's easy. It is simple, but it's not easy. And we're going to go through that. But you've got to believe it first. You've got to believe that it's possible. Yes or yes. Do you believe? Because it is. You've envisioned it. If you can envision it in your mind, then it can exist. Of course it is. Not only possible, but it is doable. Exactly. It is doable. It is doable today. Not necessarily all the business goals, but the version of you that can achieve those business goals is possible today.